Hey everybody, welcome to the National Signing Day podcast. I'm your host, Coach Martin, and today we have an amazing episode. Super excited. Hey, happy Monday, everybody. We got. I'm gonna. You mind if I call you Coach Casey? So we got Coach Casey on. Casey, welcome to the podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to talking recruiting with you.
Man, listen, I'm excited. I'm excited for one because I love learning, so I get to learn more and more. Everybody that's on here, it seems like everyone has some gold that they could share. But obviously for our audience as well, for all the guys and the girls that are hustling, that are trying to, get to the next level, you definitely have the ability to give them some wisdom. So Casey, again, thank you for being part of this show. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself? What's going on?
Yeah, I've worked full-time in between college and professional baseball now for over 15 years. Right now, I'm a junior college recruiting coordinator. I'm also the director of baseball operations for a post-grad program. I run a 12-team summer collegiate league. I'm the director of recruiting for a Korean baseball organization that sends Korean baseball players over to the United States to come play baseball, in the U.S. So I help international student athletes. I work in baseball 12 months out of the year. So I'm about, I'm a lifetime baseball guy. I love what I do. And at the core of it, I love helping, whether it's young student athletes find the right college, or it's, college guys play professionally. At the core of it, we love baseball, but I love helping people along the way kind of find their place in baseball. So.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. I love that. So let me ask you a question. So you've been doing this for a while. What prompted you to start?
What prompted me to start? Well, I mean, I knew I loved baseball. I played baseball in college. There became a time where, I was a good college player, but I knew I wasn't gonna, play Major League Baseball. And early on, I had a skill set of. I was running my own team at a young age. I did it as a high school senior project. Someone kind of taught me public speaking and fundraising. And so I was running my own baseball team at a young age. So I had a unique opportunity to figure out what I enjoyed. Did I want to be like a general manager? Did I want to be a field manager? Did I want to play? And so I just working myself through the process of doing a lot of different jobs in baseball. I figured that I like doing on the field stuff. And the reason why I like doing on the field stuff is because it empowered you to help people, to help them find their path in baseball, to develop, and to most importantly advance, improve themselves and move on in baseball. So long story short, that's what got me into college coaching, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm 40 years old, and I've kind of been doing this since I was 20. And that's, long story short, that's what got me to where I'm at now.
Yeah, I like it. So I'm going to ask you. I just want to be clear. So you've been. It sounds like you've been involved in a lot of different areas, right? But the bulk of like when you help athletes right now, is it strictly like on the college level from like a college coach's perspective, or do you have like a business where you also help as well on that end? Tell me a little about those.
So yeah, the two main ways that I would help student athletes now is our post-grad program. And so that for those that aren't familiar, a post-grad program is graduated high school seniors that are instead of going directly into college, they're taking a gap year, and they're doing that to develop. Maybe they want to take a year to get better. Maybe they want to take a year to develop. And then we move them on to a college, and so we play a full college season, a full college practice schedule. You play against all colleges, and then we help place those all those student athletes at the end of that program. So, and we have 100% success rate. And then the second way that I do that is I coach at a junior college right now. I'm the recruiting coordinator. And I help all of our student athletes move on to four-year universities. And we're the number one school in California in moving our sophomores on to four-year schools. I do it privately. I do work as a college recruiting advisor as well. That's on a very limited basis, just because I am so busy, especially in the springtime with the post grad and the the junior college work. But so those are the two main ways I do it. The post grad program is all about development and advancement. These guys are here to get better and to be placed in colleges, and then of course junior college baseball, all of our sophomores are here to be moved on to four-year school. So that's where the majority of my time is spent this time of the year.
Okay. So I like that. And whether you're in school or whether, like Coach said, whether you're taking a gap year, if you have it in your heart, right, you got a desire where, hey, I don't want the 1 year gap to turn into a 2 year gap or a 3 year gap. I want to get in. I want to continue playing the sport I love at the next level. That's some great stuff, because I'm one where I tell people all the time, listen, I get it. If you're one of the top 1% in the country, coaches are going to find you 100%. You're going to be on the boards. They're going to come get you. That's not an issue. But we know that most of us don't fall in that category. So whenever people come to me, I always tell them, listen, get help. Align yourself with some professionals, like we got one right here, right, that's a guest on this show, that can help you. They can help you because they've lived it. They've been in the space for a long time. They can help you navigate through trial and error. They could take a look at what you're doing and maybe what you're not doing, and give you a good plan that puts you in position to actually win, right? I like that.
There's a place for everybody to play. I think the misconception that a lot of people believe is that the only schools that are out there are the ones that maybe you see on TV, right? But the reality is there's like over 3,000 college baseball programs or any athletic program out there, and the majority of those schools you've never heard of, but it doesn't mean that it's not the right fit, right? And so exploring what those other schools are is very important. And don't just, look at the schools that maybe you see on ESPN, and it's all about finding what is the best fit for you. And if you do enough homework and you find someone that can help you navigate that process and find that program that might be the right fit, there is a school out there or a post-grad program or something out there for you that you can play at the next level.
Yeah, I like that. Interesting when I speak in schools, high schools, and if they have me to do a recruiting piece or recruiting workshop, and obviously you go in there, you're going to give them A, B, and C, you're going to help them. But I always do a segment on that, because I do think that a lot of the kids aren't being served by being prepared, and they just think that, oh my gosh, it's so and so or bust, and that's just not reality. Like, listen, even if you're going to go to a JC, you could get a good education. You can, you can find success there and keep playing the sport you love, as opposed to like maybe going to another one and not really having a plan. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And even though you kind of answered this, by giving them some advice, I want you to think about this for a second, Casey. And if you were to give an athlete, let's say you're at the airport and an athlete recognized you, they came up to you and they say, hey, coach, hey, I know you only got 2 minutes, but hey, what's one piece of advice you could give to me that I could take and utilize in my college recruiting journey?
Well, I would say this, and you just brought up a good point. And junior college isn't for everybody, but here's two very good points about junior college. One, it's going to be, in general, a much more affordable option to start your college career. So you're going to, one, maybe keep your parents out of debt or keep yourself out of debt by not having to, take out student loans. Two, you will get the same 4-year degree than if you were to start at a junior college and transfer to a 4-year school than if you were to go to a 4-year school all 4 years. So what is negative about starting your career at a junior college? Like the perception of it, I think is much different than the reality. If you can actually save yourself some money and some debt, and and now you're graduating college and you're not in debt, you know what I mean? And you're going to have the same exact degree. That piece of paper is not going to say anything different because you started your college career at a junior college. So, and maybe you get to play right away. Maybe you have a better chance at getting on the field and playing right away at a junior college than you would at a 4-year school. Is that more valuable to you? Sometimes junior colleges, you go there for 2 years, and it's going to give you a second chance at going to your dream school. Because maybe right out of high school, maybe athletically or academically or maturity wise, you weren't ready for that 4-year school. But maybe after 2 years, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're more mature, and now you're ready. So again, this isn't going to go across the board for everybody, but in general, I've never met a person that didn't, a young student athlete that didn't get better after 2 years of junior college than when they came in. So there's maybe I gave them more than 2 minutes right there, but those are all things to consider.
That's okay. That's okay. That was good.
Junior college that maybe people don't think. I think it has a negative perspective because you go, oh, junior college, this isn't my dream school. But there's so many more positives that people just don't consider because it's not the dream school. I get it. It's not going to be the, so-and-so junior college alumni. That's not going to be your license plate cover, but that's okay. Because maybe it gets you to the school that will be your license plate cover and it will be your dream school. And maybe you weren't ready for that school right out of high school.
Yeah, that's really good. And the analogy I kept thinking while you were talking was like, hey, we all like a coupon. But honestly, it could be like a $40,000 or $50,000 coupon. Right. So that's pretty good. So I want you to, I don't know if you remember, I don't know your age, right? But a lot of people, if I told this story, they wouldn't even get it. But, Back to the Future, right? We get in the DeLorean, you go back, and you can get in front of your 18-year-old self. So, Casey, if you could give your 18-year-old self just one piece of advice on anything, what would that be?
College, any college sport or college in general, as soon as it goes from high school to college, becomes a job. It's still fun, but it becomes a job. And you are competing against everyone else, including your own teammates, for scholarship money, for your next roster spot. And it can still be fun. It's still a game. It's still what you love to do. But if you don't take it as a job and you don't show up to work every day and work harder or as hard as you can, then someone else is going to earn that scholarship. Someone else is going to earn that roster spot at your dream school. And the people that work the hardest and that take it seriously and still have fun, you still have to have fun because it's still what you love to do. Those are going to be the people that succeed the most. I think when I was 18 years old, I was probably more confident than I should have been because I was so good in high school. I just thought I was going to be good and, great in college. And I got to college and it's like, oh, wow, everybody's really good, and I wish I would have taken it more seriously as a job. And I ended up being a good college player, but if I would have taken it more seriously and taking it more like a job, taking it as seriously as I do take my coaching career and my scouting career, as seriously as I take my job now, I would have been much better. So take it as a job, love it, and have fun, but it's work, and everything that you do is competition, and you're competing for your next scholarship, for your next roster spot, for your next playing opportunity. But also have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah, Casey, I like that. So Casey, let me ask you, your main, obviously you deal with baseball. It's your deal. You love it. Do you ever work with athletes that maybe aren't baseball players? They're playing softball or they're playing any other sport?
Yeah, I've worked with softball players. I've coached softball here and there. So yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the times I give, the things that I say about junior college and also being open to just different schools. And when I'm talking to junior college students about transferring, it's also about being open to NAIA schools and Division III schools. So a lot of the things I say, about baseball student athletes, I think also applies to everyone, student athletes across the board, everywhere. So the answer is, I haven't talked to student athletes in every sport, but I do think what I say applies to a lot of different sports.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's why I ask. There's times where, like, I have a friend of mine who, he's a baseball guy. And he has a business and he helps athletes get recruited. His package is super expensive. It's a high dollar, definitely high ticket. We have conversations and he's played at I believe the professional ranks. He's coached college. He's coached overseas. He's coached, basically he probably has 40, 50 years of baseball. So I get all that. But I remember always telling him, hey, if you ever think about, just opening up, because a lot of your baseball players probably have siblings that might play other sports. And when I think of recruitment, I get it. Maybe some of the days are different, but recruitment is recruitment. It's the same process, right? And the wisdom that you're sharing today on this show, you don't have to be a baseball player, right, to be a recipient of that wisdom, right? So if you're listening right now and you're playing football, man, I don't want you tuning out because, Casey's a baseball coach. The wisdom he's giving you is the same wisdom you can apply whether you're playing football, baseball, cheer, right, swimming, tennis. It doesn't matter. It's across the board. So, yeah, I agree with you as well. So, Casey, if you can ask me one question, right, what's one question you'd like to ask me?
What's your passion for empowering? I would say that you empower the college recruiting community. What's your passion? Like, what's your why? Like, I know what like my passion behind it is, but what's your passion behind kind of empowering this community, and what is the success? What do you find doing with this community that is the most successful?
Yeah. So, and I like your question. So for me, it's deeper than recruitment, right? Yes, I'm super competitive. We love it when our athletes get recruited, 100%. Put a big check on the wall, great. But it's not just about recruitment. And as a matter of fact, the majority of it is outside of recruitment. Now, you could be thinking, well, what do you mean? And I'm going to sum it up in this story right now. I remember years ago, I'll never forget this. I had a boy, he was a football player. This kid, he was a senior, he gave me a call in December, and he basically didn't get recruited. So he was, hey, coach, I didn't get any reach outs, I need help. So I basically said, hey, jump in, go to Haystack, sign up for the software, start reaching out to schools. You'll get alerted when they're watching your videos. Contact those schools. Let us know if you have any questions. Well, his answer to me was interesting. He was like, Coach, we don't have any money. And I'm like, well, the software, I think the software is $30 a month. At that time, I think it was $16. So I'm like, hey, it's only $16 a month. Let me know if you have any questions. And it was interesting because he's like, hey, Coach, we don't have $16 a month. And I'm like, what? So I remember telling him, I tell this boy, I said, hey, take a picture of your shoes and text it to me. And he goes, Coach, why? And I said, if you're wearing Jordans, don't tell me you don't have $16. But he put his mom on the phone, and it was a horrible story. She was a single mom. This lady's working 3 jobs. She was struggling, right, to just basically be able to, get food on the table and lights on. And we put this kid on for free. Now, I have a rule where people that don't pay attention. But this boy was an outlier. He called me. We would work on his communication. We would talk. 62 days later, I'm driving home from a basketball organization in Los Angeles, and I get a phone call on a Friday night, and this boy got a scholarship to Chowan University. And as a matter of fact, I think this is his last year. I think he's a senior. He's playing there. And the reason I tell this story is it's not just the fact that this kid got recruited. Let's go past that. This kid set a goal, recruitment. He was able to reverse engineer that goal, put disciplines and habits in place that allowed him to be able to accomplish his goal. He learned how to communicate and sell himself to the coach. Like that template he can use for the rest of his life, right? What job interview will this boy not land? What promotion will he not get? This kid's going to break the poverty curse in his family that could have been going on for generations. So whenever I deal with like an athlete or, fill in the blank, recruitment is great, but it's the things that you learn during the recruitment that are going to serve you for the rest of your life. And you may not, it's kind of like the old Karate Kid movie. You may be doing the wax on the fence and you don't even realize that it's going to serve you on the mat. So that's the part that gets me the most exciting, to set these kids up, not for just success like at college, but for success for the rest of their life.
Change the whole trajectory of his life. Yeah, that's
100%.
I love stories like that as well. I have a couple where first kid in his family that's going to graduate college, similar to that, and what's better than that, honestly. And so I love that story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, for sure, Casey. So Casey, we got the audience out here. Not only do we pump it out, but we throw it on a bunch of different channels and repurpose it. So we want to get it out. So if there's guys and girls, kids, if there's parents right now listening and they want to find you, right? They want to learn more about you. They want to connect with you. Where can they find you?
The best place to find me is on X at CaseyDill22. I have about 110,000 followers, and I do a lot of Twitter or X Spaces and podcasts like this. And I do try to educate the college baseball recruiting community as much as possible. I do put out a lot of content. I do promote a lot of uncommitted players. When there's rule changes, when there's anything like that, I put stuff out there. So if you follow me, I a lot of the stuff I put out is educational. I let people ask me questions. If you have questions, you can direct message me. I put out stuff about summer leagues. I put out stuff about the post-grad program that I talk about. So yeah, follow me on X. It's at CaseyDill22. When this is completed, I'll certainly put out, this podcast and clips from this podcast. So I really appreciate being a part of the show. I really appreciate the conversation. This was great.
Yeah, Casey, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And audience, make sure you go on X. Definitely follow him. A great resource. You're going to definitely want to stay in contact. I know, Casey, even though that we were on this podcast right here, you and I are going to be connected moving forward, right? So we're going to be family, and I'm definitely looking forward to leveraging you. And if I could be of service to any of your people as well, we definitely love to be able to do that. But thank you so much for being part of our show. We definitely appreciate it. We know your time is valuable. For everyone else, I'm Coach Martin. Thank you again for visiting the National Signing Day podcast. You can find us at nationalsigningdaypodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on social. Be sure to share this tweet because you have friends out there that need to hear what Casey has to say. So till next time, Coach Martin, and I'm out.